Spiritual Activism, Replacing Vices and Virtues for Growing Up, Essay 5 of a series. As we continue our journey to spiritual activism, we pick up the fifth essay of this series with where we left off, releasing the charge of an emotional trigger and replacing a habituated destructive reaction or vice with a fresh, life-affirming response or virtue. As repeatedly stated, this is much easier to talk about than to actualize. Therefore, please be compassionate and patient with yourself when you repeatedly fall short. The key point is to continue the full practice. So that's the core elements of an integrative or holistic or integral life practice. And please refer back to essays 1 through 4 of this series for more information about that. And this is so because over time, with right effort, diligence, and practice, you will feel interior shifts and experience changes in your life and your relationships. It is very important to reiterate that while this right effort is an obvious and essential dimension of the inner journey, it is only part of the sacred mystery of deep change, along with the paradoxical surrendering of the will. And for example, step 1 of the 12 steps, coupled with right effort and surrender of self-will, is the incomprehensible, infinite spirit of love and light and life, known as grace in the Christian tradition, freely and generously bestowed upon us. And as we move away from destructive ways of being and toward more life-affirming ways, we experience that flow and that generosity in ever moving and increasing ways. Now, let us return to Dante's Divine Comedy. As you may recall, that my study of this classical work with the help of guide Mark Vernon inspired my decision to embark on this essay series. You may also recall that Dante begins his journey by finding himself lost in the woods. Quote, "Midway in my life's journey, I went astray from the straight road and woke to find myself alone in the dark woods." End quote. Shortly after this realization, he lifts his eyes and he sees the sun rising, which fills him with joy and hope. So he starts to move toward the mountain that he sees in the distance. However, he's suddenly stopped in his tracks by 3 scary beasts. While commentaries may differ here as far as the interpretation of these beasts, they are often noted as symbols of the gates of the cardinal vices. So the lust of life in the lion, of wrath and envy and pride, the 3 vices of those 3 vices. The lust of the eyes in the leopard of greed and worldly sorrow. And the lust of the flesh, the wolf of sexual lust, gluttony, and sloth. The 3 beasts stopped Dante in his tracks until his guide, Virtue, a symbol of reason, shows up and offers support and offers to guide him through hell, then purgatory. As there is no direct ascent up to the mountain of joy, that they see in the distance, and past these 3 beasts toward their desired destination, that mountain peak of joy, or Paradiso in the Divine Comedy. Dante orients his journey in the first 2 parts of the Divine Comedy around the cardinal vices and virtues associated with ancient Greek philosophy and Christianity. While world religions and philosophies differ in beliefs and doctrines and practices, there are more similarities than differences amongst them in the realm of desirable character traits of followers or ways of relating and living in society, or virtues or ethics. Martin Seligman, an American psychologist, author, educator, and founder of positive psychology, and fellow researchers in the field, studied major religions and philosophical traditions and identified 6 virtues common to cultures across the ages. And these virtues include wisdom, and he offers other names for these virtues as well, but I won't offer all those alternative names in this audio version of the essay. My written version of the essay does include some other terms that could be considered. So he offers as universal virtues wisdom, courage, humanity, or love. I will offer an alternative there. Transcendence, or hope, justice, and moderation. Those are the virtues that Siegelman and his fellow researchers offer as universal virtues. Over time, and yes, much time, because there's no quick fix here. This is the inner journey of life, of mature adulthood. As we genuinely seek to replace vices with virtues, we slowly become reoriented to new, higher ways of being human. And this reorientation then begins to infuse our activism with greater clarity and energy, while opening us further to the transformative power of divine love, light, and life, or the good, the true, and the beautiful. The core elements, the core domains, I should say, the core domains of religion and philosophy. This essay series will continue with essay 6.